Happy good Saturday, everyone. Good morning. Um, yeah, I just woke up. It's about 6:37 in the morning, and I got my morning cup of coffee. Mm, Waiting for the sun to come up. And yeah, it's been a while since I did a video, so I'm gonna do it. Um, I've been taking part of the Occult Detective October, and I read two books back to back in the Dresden Files. And I think I'm going to stop after that and get back to my pulps just because I feel like I've read enough. Um, Plus, it seems when you read the more modern stuff, it seems to get more darker, more bloody. And I'm not all about the blood and the gore and all that. I could go back and read the John Silence books and some of the other older stuff. But there's stuff I really want to read that I got. And so to help make the transition, I did read some stuff in this fat stack here. There are 3 comics and 5 graphic novels. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do some reviews. All right. So hope you stick around for these. First off, put out by Moonstone, is Kolchak the Night Stalker and Dr. Moreau. Now, the story is top freaking notch on this. Okay, incredible story. This could have been made like as the 3rd Kolchak movie. Okay, but the artwork, the artwork has no definition, guys. I'll show you. There's no shadow. There's no shading. None of that. The perspective is there. There's backgrounds, but it's just straight out line work. There's nothing to give it depth. The inking needs shadow, shade, stuff to work off of. And the whole book is like that, honestly. There's a little bit of it, but not a whole lot. There needs to be a lot more. If you're going to do a black and white book, you do need it, Like, look at too much white of the pages. But the story is phenomenal. Kolchak is back in Chicago covering a case. And some murders start happening that seem to be animal related. And of course, his nose for news leads him to investigate. And it turns out that the animal men from Dr. Moreau were real. The island was real. And there's some genetics bioweapon company called OIO that found the island, brought them to America, and that's about as much as I'll tell you. It's quite interesting. It's quite good. It's like a triple thick comic book. It's like 64 pages, but it's put together like a regular comic. And it's really, really good. This was, I believe, in their reduced section on Moonstone Books. I think I paid like $2.99 for this, and the cover price was $5.99. So I can't complain. Now, getting to the pulpiness, we're going to do some pulpy stuff. Yeah. Okay, this is issue 2 of the 6-issue limited series from Marvel, The Sword of Solomon Kane. This has a beautiful cover, painted, by Kevin Nolan. It is a werewolf issue. And what happens is Solomon Kane unknowingly saves the son of one of his Puritan friends. He's back in America after some travels in Africa from a werewolf. He chopped the head clean off the werewolf, or the wolf, what he thought was a wolf, and it turned into a person. And he goes into town, meets his old Puritan friend there. His Puritan friend married a healer woman or white witch or whatever you want to call her. And Solomon Kane doesn't judge him, but he kind of looks at him funny, you know? And then he sees the son, the boy he saved, who's actually a very young man. You know, he's like 18, 19. And it turns out he was bitten by the werewolf and not killed, so he got turned into a werewolf. So in front of his friend, he has to do battle with the werewolf, who is his friend's son. The mother tries to get out there and calm him, you know, the son, the werewolf son. The son kills the woman. Solomon Kane kills the son, who is a werewolf. They bury them both. Very bittersweet story, but very Robert E. Howard and Solomon Kane. Read this. It's The Sword of Solomon Kane, #2. If you have it, great stuff. You'll love it. Okay. And yeah, I put a few things more up behind me. Yeah, the Elric graphic novel you can see right here. Magazine size Weird Science, and then Weird Fantasy and Weird Science Fantasy. Because they're the same size and they are pulpy. They're all from that era, the 40s and 50s, the pulp era. Very good stuff. And there goes Sparta running around like a maniac. Okay. Sparta is part Bengal cat. So yeah, he's a little aggressive, super playful, and full of energy. He's the one my son rescued. Now this next one, pure pulp, done by one of the greatest comic artists ever. And there have been a lot of great ones. There's been Neil Adams, Bernie Wrightson, Michael Kaluta. The list goes on and on. But this is one that we know for his art in the horror genre. That's right. Gene Colan did pulp graphic novel adaptations. The Spider. Dun, 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 dun. It is a graphic pulp. And this is gorgeous stuff, man. It's put out by Argosy and Action Link, who I've never heard of. And it's the Spider versus the Batman, who looks like that. Pure vampire Nosferatu, nightmare fuel, fantastic stuff. And the artwork is just incredible. Gene Colan pencils, no inks. This is just phenomenal stuff, guys. This is some of the best work I've ever seen Gene Colan do. And if you're wondering, look at the mood, man, with this vampire stuff. Yeah. Great stuff. There we go. That's what we know Gene Colan for right there, man. Yeah. Yeah. This is loosely based on a story I will be reading from this book. This is called The Spider Robot Titans of Gotham, but the book that Gene Colan adapted is the second story in this big pulp spider novel. It's called The Death Reign of the Vampire King. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So this is just, yeah, beautiful stuff, man. Yeah. You can't. Oh. Yeah. Now, Wentworth, who plays the spider, started off as just being a guy in black with his guns and a regular domino mask, but he was getting into his disguises, so he started adding hair to it, fangs, all that to look completely non-human and put fear into the criminals that he was fighting, or actually killing, because he didn't fight, he killed. Didn't matter. And it all depended on the story. The spider was just ruthless. He killed tens, hundreds, or thousands of criminals. And he was so reckless and so insane and obsessed about it, because he would always dive in and shoot first and ask questions later, that every episode, or I should say every novel, he barely escapes within an inch of his life. And when he does, he's usually beaten down to crap. I mean, like right on death's door every freaking time. But see, this is incredible. I mean, Gene Colan, man. I wish more comics were done like this, where they just did Gene Colan's pencils. The man was phenomenal. He really knew what he was doing, you know? His artwork, amazing. And seeing his raw pencil work like this gave me all new appreciation for him. I mean, I know his Dracula was incredible, phenomenal. But this, just let Gene Colan do his thing, his mastery of light and shadow, just incredible stuff, man. Then they give you a little history of the spider back here and show you what the original novel was like. Then, 4 more pages of the original novel, and then a sketch of Wentworth, who is the spider, his friend, which is the police commissioner, Kirkpatrick, who thinks he is the spider, just can't prove it. And it seems like these guys did a whole bunch of, this was from 2002, by the way. They did a whole bunch of Gene Colan created characters. Like here's one called Webman by Gene Colan. So I'm going to be on the lookout for these. Awesome stuff. And keeping with the pulp thing, we're moving on to the number one most popular pulp hero character. He had 338 books in his series, 633 episodes on radio, one 15-part serial, 5 or 6 movies, tons and tons of comics, and we're talking about Dennis O'Neill's and Mike Kaluda's The Shadow in hardback. Yes, this collects all the issues of the Michael Kaluta and Denny O'Neil Shadow run from the 1970s. There were only 6 of them. The run lasted like 12 issues, but Mike Kaluta only did half of them. The rest were done. I know Frank Robbins did 4, and then I forget who the other 2 were done. Now, unfortunately, not every issue was a direct adaptation of a Shadow story. Love that Mike Kaluta artwork. Don't care about the Denny O'Neil stuff. And only one was actually a direct adaptation of a novel of the Shadow. And that was this one here, The Freak Show Murders, which was Shadow number 2. Okay. And what I love about this is you really get to see Michael Kaluta's artwork grow and change throughout, and how he developed his own super detailed Art Nouveau style, you know. And then Michael Kaluta did his own original Shadow story here at the end, which is shown nowhere else. Oh, that's one of the Egyptian boys, huh? Yep. Incredible. It is out of print. It is very, very expensive. If you can find it and you'd rather read these than take out your floppies of the Shadow, I suggest it's worth it. Okay. Now, moving right along, keeping in the pulp vein, we can't talk about pulp without talking about one of the weird science fiction masters, or weird fantasy masters, the creator of the Cthulhu mythos, H.P. Lovecraft stuff. That's right. Now, I have these 2 that I read. Cthulhu Fairy Tales versus, or Invades Fairy Tales. Really, really good stuff. There is one story in here about an elf, female elf, who doesn't think she's beautiful. And then she's made beautiful in the most twisted way by Cthulhu. And he interacts with Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. I mean, every Grimm's fairy tale you can think of, Cthulhu somehow gets in there, tempts, terrorizes, whatever. These are must-reads. They're put out by Orange Cone Productions. And if you want to order your own copies of these are new. They came out this year. Okay, let me, but that's what you got to look for. Orange Cone Productions. You could get a copy on their website. When my wife and I went to, like I said, see Nosferatu, the writer was there and he had a bunch of these. So I bought one and he signed it. That was cool. And then, you know, the comic book, he did that too. There were 4 issues that were collected in this, so I got those. Had to do it. And keeping on the fairy tales, fables thing, I finally got around to reading this. Bill Willingham's Fables. And this is about Big B Wolf. Big B Wolf. The big bad wolf. Yes, the original, the progenitor, the god of werewolves. And you know, I never read a Fables book before. This is like 144 pages or something. And the art, the story, everything, it was incredible. I really enjoyed it. It is so worth it. And one thing that stuck out to me He fought in World War II. He hated Nazis. He wasn't in the army. He wasn't in the European army or American army. He just did it on his own because he knew the Nazis were bad. And the Nazis were trying to resurrect the Frankenstein program. They wanted to make an army of super powerful, undead SS troopers that would just wipe everything out. And so we get this awesome scene, Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. They battle to the death, man. But it's actually the big bad wolf. Incredible, incredible stuff. Well written, but then it goes on to a modern day of werewolves that are descendants of Big B Wolf and how they're all screwed up. If you can find this, get it, read it. You will love it. I got this at the library sale when they were saying fill a bag of books for $3. So I stuffed it in there. The bags were already overstuffed. So who knows? I probably paid like 25 cents for this. Well worth it, guys. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today, because my video is already over 21 minutes, is Razor Fist. If you don't know Razor Fist, don't care if you hate him, don't care if you love him. The guy is awesome. He turned me on to the pulps, or got me re-interested and re-energized in reading pulps when I was really burning out on all the woke cringe comic crap. He came out with a book called Ghost of the Badlands. Yes, the Orthodox cross is there for the T. So yes, it is incredibly well done. This writing was fantastic. It's black and white, but it is about, imagine Paul, the last apostle who was the Roman centurion killing Christians, who turned to Christianity after being met by after meeting Jesus, and Jesus telling him, "Why do you persecute my church? You see it's true. Here I am. Now go out, spread the word, and do good." And it's like that. This one guy who was a robber was going to go ahead and kill a wagon train to get all their stuff, but he couldn't kill the kids. So the rest of the robbers shot him, blew one of his arms off, were about to kill him, and then the ghost comes. Now the ghost is this dude who wears a mask, quotes scripture all the time, and wears an automatic weapon. Let's see. And there he is. And he heals the guy, recruits him to help him fight against all the corruption and evil going on in the Old West. And it's incredible. I mean, just really incredible. And see, there is the ghost representing the Holy Ghost with an automatic weapon. And if you know anything about the Old West, people, you know there were no automatic weapons in the Old West. I mean, you had your big machine guns that you had to crank. You had your lever action rifles like what I got here. But a true semi-automatic like a 1911 45 or a Glock, those things didn't exist, but this guy had one. Very cool story. In fact, I would say Ezekiel Creed and Ghost of the Badlands, you need to read these almost back to back. They go together. They are awesome. And I've done a review on Ezekiel Creed before, so go back, watch that video. The book's available on Amazon by Pastor B.C. Barr, or War, excuse me. And then Razor Fist, Ghost of the Badlands. Incredible, incredible stuff, guys. All right, well, that's it for today. I need to go take a shower and shave and start my Saturday. I actually had to work yesterday, so today's my only day off. And that's why I was glad I was able to get this video out of the way. The next video, yes, I'm going back to my pulp roots. Here's the next 3 books I'm going to read. I need to finish The Purple Scar, and then I'll give you guys a breakdown history on The Purple Scar. I had this last short story that's in it to read, because there's 4 in the book, and I've got about, 20, 30 pages left of that. Then, yes, we're going to do The Master of Men, The Spider, Robot Titans of Gotham, Satan's Murder Machines, Death of the Vampire King, and the Octopus. So there's 3 shadow novels in this, which is going to be awesome. And then a really short book that I'll read, The Green Hornet, How Sweet Thy Sting. And past that, I haven't planned out what my reading's going to be. I think next month they're doing something called Dinovember for Dinosaur November. I have a couple of books for that I could read. And I mean, the obvious choices are like Jurassic Park. But, yeah, I'd rather watch dinosaur movies, especially the cheesy ones from the 50s and 60s, like 1 million years BC, Dinosaurus, stuff like that. I may participate, I may not. I may continue just reading my pulp stuff. But in any event, thank you for sitting through all this. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Have a great day. And I will see you all in the next video.